So that's all I have for Miss Bean. She's calmed down a lot. If anyone wants to see if she'll stick her tongue out at them again, you let me know. Yeah, I'll bring her over. She can't be touched, but I'm hoping maybe she'll stick her tongue out. Yeah? Yes, it's very blue, and it's a very wide tongue. This is the only participant I've ever had that's been so scared of every animal. You want to take some pics? I can't let you touch her because she's a little scared, but...
You can see she's a little bit obese. You can see.
Oh, she's really obese.
The skin is tight. Yeah.
And she is missing a couple toes. If you guys were looking at her feet as I was bringing her around, she is missing a couple toes because, like any other reptile, she will shed as she grows. But if the humidity levels in her enclosure aren't high enough, her shed will get stuck around her toes and then will rip off the ends of her toes. So, like I said, this was a kid who grew up with Bean, not really knowing any different. So while she is rehabbed to the extent that she could possibly be, her toes will never grow back. And it will take her a really long time to lose all its weight, probably about 45 years. Bean is roughly 9 or 10 years old. And she can also live until her 20s. All these animals are really long-lived, you guys. I really did this. She's amazing, right? And people always ask us why she isn't losing weight if we're trying so hard to have her lose weight. Well, it's because she's not exercising, but it's because reptile metabolisms are much slower than humans. You know, if they're only eating a couple times a month, whereas humans or any other mammals will eat a couple times a day, our metabolisms are a little different. So it'll be quite some time until she's in tip-top shape, but we have about 10 more years before we do that. Any Bean questions? So I'm going to put Bean away. But do we have any questions about either Chains or Hades? Do we need me to take them out again? Does anyone have any questions at all about them? Oh, you guys are great listeners. Usually everyone has tons of questions. You're very thorough. Thank you. He's still chowing down. Yeah. He will just keep chowing and chowing until there's no more, and then he'll grab a hole through your bowl just until he's done. She's tasting your food. And what he is a sulcata tortoise, but you will also hear them go by the name of spur-thighed tortoises, but I tend not to say that because it's really long. But the reason why they can also go by the name spur-thighed tortoises is because on their arms and legs they have spurs, and that's meant to help them fend off predators, help them with digging. I can walk around with him and show you guys his spurs. They are the second hardest part of his body. His shell is first. His shell is very hard and compact, and then his spurs are the second hardest part. So take a look at the side of his legs, and you can see how they look like little mountains. Those are his spurs. So that's why you will hear them be called a spur-thighed tortoise, but they are also a sulcata tortoise. They're both the same thing. It's tomato, tomato. Yeah, he's loving this life.
Is it true that I think Philadelphia Zoo, the oldest turtle they have, just had babies?
You know, I'm not too sure. I don't exactly keep up with Philadelphia Zoo, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah, she had babies. And she got whatever.
Oh, he's not.
They have these big ones at Philadelphia Zoo.
So if we just pound away at the food, he can reach full size in probably another 5 years. But if we feed him at a respectable rate, it'll probably be about 10 years.
So the shell just grows as he grows?
Yes, so as he grows, his shell grows. And you can see that his shell, just like his spurs, look like little mountains. Now, you can always tell how good someone or how well someone cares for their tortoises by how pointy the shell looks. When the shell is pointy, that is called pyramiding. And you never ever want pyramiding on a tortoise shell because that means that there is some sort of lack of nutrient. Now, a healthy tortoise shell will see very round. And you can see he's got some lumps and bumps on his shell, and that's because his last caretaker, who surrendered him to us, did take good care of him, but not amazing care of him. Now, he's adorable. So he'll be fine. He will grow up to be a nice, healthy tortoise. But that is a telltale sign that he's ever nosy about how well someone takes care of the turtles. Just look at the shell.
How old is he now?
He is currently probably about 5 or 6.
What does his diet?
Greens.
Just green.
Yes, so in the summer he will graze and he will just fill his belly with grass all day, and that is perfectly fine. He will also eat hay. He will eat dark leafy greens like different types of lettuces. He is not picky. He'll eat anything. If you're wearing green shoes, he'll eat your green shoes. If you're wearing a green t-shirt, he'll start biting at it. That is how not picky he is. He will eat anything. Now, the man that surrendered Alice in chains to us did so because they were growing too quick for him. He was running out of space because in the summer they are outside, and in the winter you must move them inside. And the winter can become a problem because you have to have them in an enclosure strong enough to where they won't ram through it. And it has to keep in the warmth. So, seeing that this was becoming an obstacle, the last caretaker surrendered Alice in chains to us and signed them over. He never owned them legally. It was all hidden under the table, so we had to take over legal ownership. And a couple of months later, he's like, hey, can I have those tortoises back? And that's usually never a good sign. That's usually never ever a good sign. You don't give up an animal and then later be like, hey, how are they? Can I have them? And because they were not even owned legally by him, we were like, I'm sorry. Like, we can't do that. They are in sanctuary with us now. They are legally ours. Like, we can't give them back. I'm sorry. In the state of New Jersey, it is illegal to buy and sell turtles and tortoises, which is why you never see pet stores doing that. So really, like, he was ours. He couldn't go anywhere. And after me saying, no, I'm sorry, we can't give these turtles back to you, the man had purchased turtles online, babies, sulcata tortoises, 4 of them, and shipped them to his house. And he thought this was the best thing ever. And he sent me pictures, and he was like, I'm going to start over. How cool is that? Where do you think those turtles are going to end up in 5 years? At my house. And unfortunately, it's very, very easy to acquire these exotic animals.
Do all turtles hibernate, or just certain turtles? Because when I was a kid, they said the little turtles we used to buy in the 5 and 10. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
And then they would just move, and everybody said we were actually throwing them away when they were still alive. Is that true?
So with certain species, it is true. With box turtles, they will hibernate in the winter. With tortoises, specifically these guys, they don't hibernate, but they slow down. So they're not going to eat as much, but they're still going to be active. Whereas box turtles will completely just shut down in the winter. So it depends on what species we're talking about. But I don't. What was that?
I do have a question.
Sure.
You said that his shell grows as he grows?
Yes.
How is that shell going to
It's like
grow?
It's your fingernails. So his shell is made out of something very similar, if not the same, to your fingernails, but on a much thicker and stronger level. Any more questions?
What is the difference between a turtle and a tortoise?
The anatomy can be different, and their daily activities and what they do in winter is different. It's always a very confusing question, but it's really, it all just comes down to species. Now, the reason why I told you guys that story about Alice in Chains' last caretaker is because that is how easy it is to acquire exotic animals. So even in New Jersey, it's illegal to buy and sell tortoises. You can totally go online and buy them and get them shipped over as like a little gray area. So it's very, very easy to get the monster animals, and they're very hard to get rid of them. So that's why we exist, is to give these guys a way out and a second chance, and to try and stop the trade that's going on with them inside of it.
Are they smuggled?
Some species are, so sulcata tortoises, because they are on the risk of extinction, my goodness, because they are risking extinction in the wild, they are being smuggled. He was not smuggled, he was bred in captivity, but others are smuggled, yes.
So this guy got more. Were they smuggled or were they?
No, those were bred in captivity. It's sick, right? It's very interesting, but it's also very, very sad. So we hope that these guys will not hit extinction in the wild, but it is very possible, and we are heading there, and that's why our organization exists, to try and enact those laws and fight that trade and give these guys a place to call home. So that is really the end of my informational blabbering about these guys. But what I have up here is lots of things that you can touch, lots of things that you can take home. So I have the snake skin. I have. No, that's fine. Everything that you can take home is on this side of the table. So I also have with me a box turtle shell. Funny, because we were just talking about box turtles. And I bring this with me so that people can see and feel what it's like to be a turtle. And if you flip the shell over, you can see there's a spine inside. And that is exactly what Chains looks like on the inside. He's attached to that spine. And I also brought with us the eggs that we used to feed Bean, what we would feed our African egg eater. Unfortunately, she's not with us today because she recently passed away. And when we have to feed animals, I also brought some of our tools with us. So everyone is more than welcome to come up and touch everything. And we also have stickers that you can take home for yourselves, your children, your grandchildren, absolutely. We have some informational papers up here. We have our cards if you want to check out our website, if you want to follow us for any other educational seminars. And we also have the email list up here. If anyone wants to stay in touch with us and receive emails of when we're taking in new rescues, when we have medical cases, anything and everything exotic. So if everyone wants to come up here at one point or another and start touching and taking, you are more than welcome to do so. And I also brought a donation jar with us, because as I said, we are run only and primarily off of individual donors. And while it's not necessary to donate because we are just so happy that people were even interested in coming to hear our talk, donations help keep us afloat, and they help us feed this humongous man that is not even full size yet. Now, we take donations by cash, by check. If you want to visit our website, sign up for our email list, whatever. We are just so happy to meet everyone today. And if you would like to come up and talk individually and touch everything and take some stuff, I absolutely implore you to do so, and I am so thankful that everyone came to hear about the work that I am doing and the dream that I am building. So, thank you.
Can I get one of your cards?
Absolutely. So we have cards right here to the left and then informational flyers to the right. You can take whatever you want.
Would you like to give some information for YouTube? Is it going to go on YouTube tonight where people can donate?
Thank you so much. We are working towards our dream of rescuing and rehabilitating all types of exotic animals. And if anyone would love to follow us on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, our name is Wild Exotics Animal Refuge. And we are just so happy to have this community and the love that we can all share for these exotics in need.
You have a phone number or something they can contact you with?
Yes, so our phone number is 732-716-2629. Our website is wheresaves.org, and our email is wheresaves@gmail.com.
Hear that, people? Donate.
Yes, we run primarily off of donations.
Thank you very much.
And if anyone has questions, you can absolutely come up and talk.
And there's your wild animal rescue, exotic animal rescue. Good people, a good cause. If you like animals, donate. Share this video. Want to see more like it? Subscribe and hit that thumbs up notification. Thanks for stopping by.